Hello guys and welcome back to another YouTube video. So in today's video we're going to be discussing everything you need to know before staying in a hostel.
So basically, first of all, we're going to go through our situation at the minute. So we had to move out of our house, our share house, a couple of weeks ago because our lease was up and we had to move out. Obviously we wanted to get another month of work in before we head off to Asia, so it has ended with us staying in a hostel for a month.
Yeah, 4 weeks to be precise. But in contrast to that anyway, me and Luke have stayed in hostels during our travelling. Luke actually stayed in a hostel in Sydney.
I was in a hostel for about 3 weeks in Sydney, so quite a long time there as well.
Yeah.
You stayed in quite a few hostels, especially up the East Coast.
Yeah, but they've only been for a few days at a time. So this is definitely the most time we've stayed in a hostel, and with our experience we want to share with you everything you need to know to prepare before staying in a hostel and what you'll need during your stay, and yeah, basically just everything.
Yeah, definitely. We're basically staying in a bit of a budget hostel at the minute.
Yeah.
We're trying to save money, so we went for the cheapest hostel. So this definitely isn't the cleanest hostel we've stayed in. We've definitely stayed in nicer ones.
And bear in mind that this is going to be different for everyone, because mine and Luke's situation is different anyway, because we are a couple and we do have our own room. Whereas in some hostels, if you are solo traveling, then you're more than likely going to be sharing a room with more than one person.
I'm really lucky because the cheapest rooms are always like the double bedrooms.
Yeah.
It's just for us two, so it works out perfectly for us.
So it kind of feels like we're staying in a hotel, but obviously we still have the communal rooms, and we've still both actually been in the situation where we have had to share a room with other people. Okay, so first of all, before you even book the hostel, should you check the reviews? Are they actually legit to what the hostels have been like? What do you think?
It depends on your situation. Sometimes you're left in a bit of a desperate situation where you have to basically book any hostel you can.
Maybe sometimes it's actually best not to check the reviews.
Yeah, to be honest, I look at the pictures mostly. I don't really look at the reviews too much. I think you can get a good idea from the pictures. I think if the pictures look really bad, then I'll have a little look at the reviews, because I'm interested to see how bad it is.
To be honest, because we were going to be living in this hostel for 4 weeks, I did check the reviews, and not gonna lie, the reviews actually aligned with how the hostel has been. So for example, I'll tell you 2 reviews that I read. One review was people do not look after the kitchen and do not clean it. The cleaners come in the morning, give it 1 hour, the kitchen is disgusting.
It's the worst kitchen we've ever seen. It's so bad.
Then the second review was there's no air conditioning in the room, so it gets really stuffy and really warm. Spot on. It's so stuffy in here when it's not a cold day. So yeah, they were pretty accurate.
Yeah, one thing I'd say about reviews, definitely, most of the reviews are going to be bad, because realistically, if you go somewhere and it's been really good, like, you don't really bother, do you?
No, that's true.
If you've had a experience, you're going to be like, let me get online, I don't do it. You're going to be like, let me get online. I'm not like that, because I'm not like a Karen.
To be honest though, I've left good reviews before on some places.
Yeah, but I reckon most people
want to complain.
are way more keen to leave a bad review than a good review. So most of the time, I wouldn't say 100% go off the reviews. Listen, if the pictures and the reviews are really bad, then probably don't stay there unless you're desperate. Really,
and that's the thing, if you're backpacking, you're on a backpacker's budget, so you're gonna have to stay in some absolute poo holes.
Poo holes.
I swear. So yeah, obviously, just go with an open mind. It's all part of the journey and experience. Personally, if you're just backpacking the East Coast and you're staying in a hostel 1 to 2 days, I really don't think it matters, because you're not gonna be spending much time in the hostel.
Yeah, exactly. If you're living out of it, it's different. We're living out of it now, so we want something that's decent enough. But if you're just traveling, as long as you've got a bed, it doesn't matter. So the next one is, how far should you book in advance, and what sort of time of year you should be looking at. If you're going to like off-peak times of year, it's going to be much cheaper. So if you're coming in, for example, Australia, if you're going in the dry seasons, the summer, it's obviously going to be a lot more expensive than if you go in the winter. As for booking in advance, like, I recommend you do it like a while.
I personally would in Australia. I mean, it's hard when you're backpacking because you sort of want to go with the flow, and you want to just, like, I think it's more beneficial to do that in Southeast Asia. I feel like you can go more with the flow. You don't need to book in advance. Whereas Australia, the prices are rising rapidly. Hostels are quite expensive.
Every hostel you go to is so full, isn't it?
Oh, really
Australia,
full.
literally so full.
Especially coming to Perth, there's a lot of FIFO people that work in the mines. FIFO. Depends how you want to say it.
You could say FIFO.
No, okay, so there's a lot of people that are working in the mines, which means that they have a week off to deal with it, which means that they need some temporary accommodation. So we find a lot of workers actually in this hostel right now. Whereas if you go into somewhere like Byron Bay, you're not going to see many workers staying. It's more backpacker based. So
yeah. Overall, I think book in advance if you get the chance, but backpacking, you don't always get the chance. Sometimes you have to book a hostel last minute.
So when you arrive at the hostel, which room are you going to be staying in? So you actually get a selection of rooms depending on the hostel. So common rooms that you could be staying in is an all-female dorm, all-male dorm, mixed dorm, or you've got your standard single rooms where it's good for couples, or just if you need that break away from everyone else. Obviously are more pricier if you are on your own. Personally, I've stayed in all of them kind of rooms.
Yeah, so have I pretty much. You've had worse experiences than me with staying in like a shared room.
Like we stayed in a room in Brisbane. It was me and my 2 girlfriends and another lad that we were traveling with, and we got put in a room with 4 working men.
Smelly men.
Yeah. And I tell you what, the bathroom was actually in the room. 6 o'clock in the morning, I woke up to this man having a poo, and I was right next to the door, and it just wasn't pleasant actually. So yeah, my favourite kind of room is the room that we're in.
We're blessed because we're a couple.
Yeah.
We get pretty much always our own room. We haven't had to share at all, have we?
Like I said, like I was backpacking the East Coast, it wasn't too bad.
It's not that bad.
We weren't in there all the time.
Yeah, you can't control who you're going to stay in the room with. You could get lucky and everyone's
You could get a complete weirdo.
You could get somebody who
stinks, snores or
smells, leaves the shit everywhere.
So I just take your guesses. It's good if you actually do a group tour and you get put in a group and you can just stay with that group in the hostels when you're doing the East Coast. Whereas if you're just doing a risk, like I stayed in a hostel in Melbourne, I did an all-girls dorm. I thought, oh, this might be like a good opportunity to meet some friends. This girl just did not speak to me at all. She was just walked in the hostel. I was like, hello. She just ignored me.
The thing with a hostel is you get everyone.
Yeah, everyone.
Who won't shut up. And then you get the people who like you can't get anything out of.
Yeah.
You don't know.
So yeah, it's roulette basically.
Alright, so when you're staying in a hostel, you're obviously going to want to make food and stuff. Pretty much every hostel has a kitchen that you can make food, some worse than others. As we said, the kitchen we're using right now is the worst kitchen I've ever seen.
And it's not because of the staff don't clean it, it's the people that are living here.
Big kitchen, there's loads of stuff, but oh my god, it's bad.
Personally, if you're wanting to cook meals, I would just take a look at the kitchen first and evaluate, is it actually going to be worth it? We have actually been living off microwave meals and packet salads.
IGA like ready meals.
Yeah.
They're nice, but
it's just, I just don't want to go in that kitchen, and there's so many people in there at like peak hours. I've noticed that the time that there's hardly anyone in the kitchen is around, it was maybe like 10, 11 o'clock.
Even like around 12 sometimes. Yeah, 11,
yeah, it's
11.
quite...
Or even 2 in the afternoon.
People are going out in the days and doing stuff, doing activities, if they are backpackers. So it's rare to see people around lunchtime actually.
Yeah.
Come to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah. If you are like really healthy or whatever and you don't like eating microwave meals and stuff and you do want to cook your own food, then I'd recommend you just meal prep or something. If you get a chance, go in there in the afternoon and just make like 5 meals, pack them up, put them in the fridge, and then you don't have to cook for like 5 days after that.
Yeah, so speaking about kitchen as well, I have found personally the best thing to do is bring your own portable cutlery. You can buy these from Amazon or the shops. I got mine from Woolworths, I think, or Coles.
Yeah.
And it comes in a little tub and it's just a little box, and it's got my knife and my fork and my spoon, and I reuse that every time.
And she's sweet. I'm in the kitchen every night searching for a fork, and last night I had to resort to like the worst, dirtiest fork because it was the only one I could find. So you've done the right thing.
Yeah, and bring your own containers. That's good if you're going to have soup and stuff, so you don't have to use. I even have gone to the extent of buying our own antibacterial gel that I just put on the table and wipe off, because they're just not left in nice states.
And we've seen pigeons.
And that. It just depends, but like I said, if you're backpacking, oh, it's fine.
Or you might get lucky and have a good kitchen, like YHA, Adelaide and stuff.
That was a nice kitchen.
We was in there making pancakes and dinner every night, so you don't always have to worry about that. Again, really, the more money you pay for a hostel, the less you have to worry about
the cleanliness.
Filthy,
but like I said, like I was going to say, just go, before you do a food shop, go in and review the kitchen before you make any big decisions.
Because a lot of places, they don't have ovens. Some might not have
hardly.
microwave,
I don't think any hostels have ovens.
No.
I think it's a safety thing.
Probably because some idiot would get drunk and leave it on.
Okay, so the next one is how can you make friends in a hostel? I guess this goes out to if you're solo traveling or even like us, because when we go to Asia.
Yeah, we haven't exactly been the most sociable in this hostel. I think it's our last couple of weeks in Perth. We're working the whole time. We're kind of just seeing it. We just want to get the work done and get out of here. We're not really bothering with socialising. But yeah, when we go to Asia, we're gonna want to make friends there because
exactly. It's different circumstances. And when I was traveling the East Coast, I was so up for meeting friends. And for example, I noticed in the East Coast there was a lot of free activities within the hostels. There was a lot of free trips actually. This is in a walk around the city tour, which is really helpful if you're new to a new city, because you're seeing the city and you're actually meeting people from your hostel at the same time. So you're in the same boat. And another example is when we went to Byron Bay, they did free yoga, free surf hire, free wine and cheese night. It was so good for being sociable there. Saying that, in this hostel, there's nothing.
Not really anything going on.
No.
Some hostels are way more, like they're way easier to meet people and stuff because they have more stuff going on. There's been hostels where I've hardly met anyone. The first hostel I got to in Australia, met loads of people that wanted Bondi. We met so many people in the first day. We were like going out with people from the hostel. I guess if you make the effort, you can meet people easily. One
thing I will say about hostel culture and making friends is it's very alcohol based.
It doesn't suit you.
Which doesn't suit me and may not suit a lot of other people.
No, exactly.
However, if you are into that, I guess, drinking, I tell you what, every day of the week, this hostel is popping.
Yeah, trust me, the outside bit's crazy. And every morning, we'll go in to make our coffee at like, what, 7 AM?
There's people just sleeping on the sofas in the common room.
Passed out.
But personally, I don't like, because it's a common room and every morning it's people passed out on the sofa.
Still drunk.
Just icky. I just want to go and have my coffee and sit somewhere, and I can't because there's people passed out everywhere. A bit of a Karen there, but still. Another way to make friends is you can easily just slip in a conversation. For example, the girls' bathroom, I always find it quite easy to start a conversation with girls. And then in the kitchen, you can just be like, oh, what you cooking? Or just stuff like that. Just little conversation starters.
Especially with the backpacker hostels and stuff along the East Coast, it's a lot easier to meet people because you're all doing the same thing. Like the Byron Bay one you said. Everyone's there just to see it, chill out, have a good time. So you're all on the same vibe. If you're in the city, it's a bit different because people are working, people are doing their different things, so it's not always as easy. But especially the backpacking hostels, they're quite famous, a lot of the backpacking hostels, because they're always booked.
And I guess we've only stayed in hostels in Australia. So when we go to Asia, I guess it might be a completely different scenario.
We're gonna get a whole different experience, I reckon, by being there. We're gonna go through a couple of essential items which we recommend for staying in hostels. Starting off with earplugs. For me, these are so important because if there's the slightest bit of noise, I cannot sleep.
Will be noise.
Exactly, when you're dozing off and all you can hear is people chatting.
Especially if you're in a shared room.
100%. Shared rooms are the worst, but even in a room like we are now, we're on the main street, and obviously it was Saturday night last night.
Bad.
If I didn't have earplugs, I'm getting no sleep.
But even with my earplugs, I can hear them outside.
I know.
It's crazy busy. Depends what your location is, doesn't it? We are literally on the strip, basically. To go with the earplugs and eye mask if you're in a shared hostel room. Because people will just be disrespectful and turn the light on. And I don't want no light when I'm trying to sleep.
I'm not being funny. If you're in a shared room, good luck getting sleep.
It depends, because I was with people I knew, so we were all respectful of each other.
You got some stranger coming in, absolutely
people arrive at so many different times at the night as well. They're stumbling in with their suitcase and you're drifting off and you've got an early morning the next day.
I don't bother with an eye mask, but if I was staying in a shared room, I definitely would. They're probably the most important thing.
And some hostels do give you free earplugs.
They actually do.
Because they know. They know. Anyway, next one, personally for me, is flip-flops or thongs, as you want to call them.
You're not calling them thongs, they're flip-flops.
Okay, flip-flops.
They're not thongs.
Australia, they are thongs.
No, they're not flip-flops.
Anyway, flip-flops, why? Because I'm not I'm not putting my feet in that shower where people, I don't know what they're doing in there.
You wear flip-flops anyway though in the house.
No, I do, but what I do is I basically wear my flip-flops in the shower, the grotty showers, and then I dry my feet and then I put a fresh pair of flip-flops on to walk around the hostel with. I just don't like the feeling like, I'm sorry, but you don't know what people are doing.
You don't know what you're stepping into.
You don't know.
Especially when they piss in the shower.
Yeah, especially that.
You do. Right?
I do. I've never.
I would never.
Yeah.
You're the only one. So yeah, flip-flops, that's more for her, but I can understand why, especially in this hostel.
So I have already said it, but portable cutlery, I won't go into detail, you know why. And I was just gonna say, a travel cup as well, like a mug. Yeah. We bought our own mugs with us, didn't we?
That's because we were from a house.
So we have coffee every morning.
Yeah. Just as, if you can use as little of the hostel cutlery and utensils as possible, then I would say do that. So the next essential item is coins. Is mostly for washing.
Yeah, washing and drying.
Washing and drying. They have, most hostels will have like facilities for you to wash your clothes, but it's always with coins, which is pretty annoying to be honest. And
who carries coins?
Carries cash? In fact, I've been that lazy with getting coins, but I still go to the laundrette. Call it a laundrette.
Yeah.
I still go to the laundrette because I can pay card.
A little laundromat.
Laundromat. So I still go there. But if you want to do it in the hostel and you haven't got a laundrette near you, then make sure you have coins because it's always coins.
That's convenient, and well, it's not convenient, but yeah, if you've got coins, it's convenient for you.
Yeah.
So this isn't necessary, but I've actually taken my own pillowcase. I'm just a bit like I don't know. I'm just a bit fussy. Obviously, they put fresh bedding on, but I just like that little home comfort of just having. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm just weird like that anyway.
Yeah, I'm not too fussed. I don't care, but. I think you like that sort of thing.
Well, I've heard some people to take sleeping bags because they won't even want to use.
I hate sleeping bags.
Yeah, but they don't even want to use the sheets.
Yeah. Who knows who's washing them though? You washing them?
I don't know, do you?
Exactly. They could just be like a little bit of water.
Oh, imagine.
So another thing that's necessary if you're staying in a shared room, definitely is like a padlock, like a suitcase padlock, because you don't want to trust people in a room where you've only just met them. Because even though we haven't experienced it yet, touch wood. You could get your stuff robbed.
Yeah.
So definitely padlock your stuff, at least your valuables.
Valuables, definitely. I would personally, I was never bothered about leaving bits of clothes and stuff out, but my passport. Yeah, so definitely lock your passports away, all your valuables, money, put it away.
Because you don't know who you're sharing it with.
Yeah, better be to save them, sorry.
Okay, so that is basically our review of staying in hostels, some of our tips, some of our items that we recommend. I'd say overall, our hostel experience in Australia has been pretty good.
It's not been too bad.
It's been pretty good.
I did have a meltdown when we first moved here. But...
Oh, moved here? Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a different circumstance.
I feel like you get a bit stressed whenever we move into somewhere new.
I'm just not good with change, which is something I'm trying to overcome being here in Australia.
Yeah, exactly.
Years later, it's still not changed.
What do you reckon has been your worst hostel experience in Australia?
I don't know. Nothing's been that bad. It's not been that bad where it's been like.
You would have hated my Sydney room.
Luke had cockroaches.
If you know about cockroaches, if you kill one, it attracts more. So we saw a fat cockroach in our room on the first day. Sorted it with a slider or something. The next day, our room stinks of cockroaches, and you see them running up the walls through the night. I had to drag our bunk bed into the middle of the room so the cockroaches couldn't jump from our bed onto the.
I'm sorry, but I'd be dragging my suitcase and everything out of that room.
We moved room. We moved room.
That's like it's like when I'm a celebrity.
Yeah.
When they're letting all the cockroaches.
Elliot was just like, it's calm. I'm like, damn. And they were big ones as well.
So look, the cockroaches in Australia. I've said it again, said it, and I've said it multiple times, they're huge. That's definitely your worst experience.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, I'd never stay in a hostel. Do you know what I mean? I'd never do that, but it's not bad.
So just to round the video off, I'm just going to tell you, based on our personal experience, what has been the best hostels to stay in Australia and what's been the average worst kind of hostels to stay in. Some of the favourite ones I've stayed in is YHAs.
Yeah.
I think they're really good.
For me, they're the best.
I think they're really good. They're a big chain.
Big chain.
I've never had a bad experience there.
Yeah, to be fair, with a chain, you're gonna get a bit. It's gonna be
better quality.
Yeah, definitely.
I just personally like them. They do free pancake mornings. Just clean
Very
rooms.
clean. It's almost like a hotel, really.
They do social things, aircon. Bit on the pricier side.
Yeah, but it's doing a couple of days, it's worth it.
Worth it, totally. Another one would be, I actually kind of about the Nomads I stayed at.
I stayed in Nomads in Brisbane. Where did you stay?
In Sydney.
Oh, I didn't mind Nomads.
That was the first hostel I ever stayed in when I came to Australia, and that was in Sydney. I just had a good experience, to be honest. It wasn't that bad. One, I was in a room with my tour people and we just stayed in that room for the whole time, and the bathrooms were clean, the kitchen was fine.
I shared a room at Nomads in Brisbane. Luckily, everyone in my room was chill. They were all backpackers as well, so that was alright. I didn't see the kitchen, so I can't comment on that.
Yeah, it's kind of a sociable hostel as well.
Yeah.
They always had a nightclub next door.
Yeah, I saw they had a nightclub.
Scary Canary. No. It was part of it, yeah.
And Brisbane had a nightclub under the hostel, part of the hostel.
Oh, really?
And at night it was like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, we could hear it as well all the time.
Oh,
it's good if you're definitely sociable. Okay, so the worst ones I've probably stayed at in Bunk. I didn't like Bunk.
Oh, Bunk.
That's in Brisbane, I stayed there.
I stayed Bunk in Bundaberg.
Oh, yeah.
It was,
I didn't like Bunk. It was I found it dirty. I just didn't like the vibe. I just didn't like it personally. I think because I shared a room with them working men as well. I didn't like that. Yeah, I just didn't like it.
Other than that, I think every other hostel I've stayed in, at least, has been like a one-off hostel. It's not been a chain.
Some hostels you get pools as well. You had one, didn't you?
Your YHA in Brisbane, if you stay there, some of you probably would have stayed there. The rooftop pool is actually decent.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. They got hammocks.
That's nice.
So YHA, I'd say, is the best.
Yeah, I like YHA. But yeah, like I say, it's just based on our experience. Definitely try it for yourself and let us know if you do try any of these hostels and what you think.
Yeah, and if you have any more questions about what it's like backpacking Australia, travelling, anything like that, leave them in the comments, we'll get back to them.
Yeah, but thank you so much for watching this video, and please be sure to subscribe, like and comment. We're really excited to film more content.
Yeah, that's some mad stuff coming soon. We got some sick stuff coming soon. That's whoever commented that on the last video.
You made him cry.
Think about what you've done.